Hello, hello. I fixed my tooth today with Insta Morph. I am amazed. This tooth here, last one. It's Insta Morph. Okay, this is how it works. For anyone out there who doesn't have insurance, the dentist, they're probably gonna get really upset about this. Okay, so you go to Amazon. Jeff Bezos, I'm helping you. Okay, anyway, you buy Insta Morph, okay, at Amazon. It's just around $9, okay, big package of Insta Morph pellets. So, you take that, open that packet. It's very easy to open. You just tear, there has already a thing where you can tear it open on the top. It's just a plastic baggie. And then you heat water up. I heated water up, 1 cup of water in the microwave oven. Okay, so just before it starts to boil, you don't want to make it too hot. And where the water starts to move, okay, so you take that out, then you put like half a teaspoon or less of the pellets into that cup of water. Then you wait a couple of minutes, 2 minutes or 3 minutes. It has instructions also on it. And it actually says to heat the water up to 150 degrees Fahrenheit and then put the pellets in and then wait for 2 minutes. And then the pellet stuff should have coagulated together and formed some completely transparent, like glass-like blob. And that is very moldable, it's very soft, like jello, and you can take it out. Make sure you don't burn your hands. The water has to have cooled off enough. Don't do it, kids don't do it, let your mom do it or your dad. And you don't need to use gloves or anything. So this very clean and amazing material. It's not sticky or anything. So then you can, it's kind of like, like this here, the fly stuck on it. Because this is not Insta Morph. This is, those are letters you can glue onto the glass and the flies get stuck on it. Works like fly paper. But no, but it's kind of like, it has, when you take the Insta Morph out, it has that liquidy jello type of consistency. But don't be fooled. This is an amazing stuff. I've never seen anything like this. As it cools, it hardens. And it cools very fast. So you have to work very quickly. You have to pluck a piece off the blob, very small piece, when you put something into a filling opening, a gap in the tooth, you need very little of this. You need like, I don't know, you need like the size of a grain of rice, something like this, or maybe 2 grains of rice. Depends on the opening in the tooth. So this one I had here on top, I had a gold filling in there that came out when I was chewing Werther's caramel chews from Germany. I don't recommend those ever to anyone, because if you have fillings, they will come out. Any filling. No filling can hold up against that stuff. So yeah, anyway, that was pretty disastrous, but at least I guess my dentist must have put something else in it first to cover up the nerve before he put the gold inlay in. So that's very helpful. And then I also lost on autumn. I still have to do that one. I use too much for it and then it doesn't work. Then it hardens and it's It's like chewing on a piece of hard plastic or something. So I have to redo this. I'll talk about this in a second, but anyway, so you take a real small amount. You might even use some tools for that, like those kits that you have, those temporary filling kits you have that has a specific little instrument that comes with it. You know, I don't recommend the temporary fillings because they don't last at all, you know, unless you just drink liquids or eat smoothies or something like this, you know. And even then, I've tried all of this. So even then, it comes out after a day or two, just from the saliva, and it just doesn't hold up. It's a very porous material. But Insta Morph is very different. As you can see, it looks like tooth material, but completely white. And it is completely hard, and it has a consistency like very hard plastic. And when you chew on it, it's not like a cement material. It's not like the tooth cement that the dentists use. It has a dynamic in it. It has an elasticity in it. Even though it's completely hard, it has some bounce in it, like an elastic bounce in it. So it still has this, it's still made out of a material that has an elasticity of some sort, you know. So it's very amazing, and it works almost like a dental guard, like a night guard or something. When I bite on it, feels very good. And while I was doing this, I was also biting on it a little bit. First I thought, oh, how can I do this if I use this material? If that sticks to my teeth, then if I bite on it, then it will stick to the lower ones, but it doesn't. It cools down very, very quickly, and so it cools down just enough to, I'm absolutely amazed. You can actually eat after you've put it in. So that's how fast it cools down. But as you're working on it, as it is cooling, you can still mold it just a little bit with your lower teeth, so that you have just the right bite, you know, so that the teeth kind of fit together when they bite on top of each other. So you can still bite onto nuts or bread or whatever, something hard, crunchy, you know. That's amazing. I thought I was going to be doomed to liquid food now. I thought these teeth would have to come out. Yeah, that one, and I already have two missing here. And so little by little, you know, the teeth are coming out. And then you can be like an old grandmother. You can eat. And then you can be living the rest of your life with some baby food or smoothies or something, or just liquid foods, you know. And I like to eat. I'm into gourmet food, you know. For me, that would be very hard, and I don't want to live to the time when I have to use dentures. No, thank you very much. I'm gonna say thanks a lot. I'm signing out before that. I don't see the point in it. I really don't. But I guess this is not the best Insta Morph commercial. It's a very, very politically incorrect and unusual commercial. So as you can tell, I'm not sponsored by Insta Morph. But it can be it can be a tooth saver, you know. It's I will see how long this lasts. It already came out when I used this I have like a pick type of thing with metal, like a tooth scraper thing, and I was trying to push this more in so that I can do flossing. I'm sure I cannot even do flossing right now at this moment. I will have to practice this more. One has to practice putting that in. In particular, it's very difficult when the hole is in a very odd shape and when part of the hole is already going out to the outside, and so the tooth is hollowed out, where you have like only like sharp edges left, and I already slashed up my gums on the inside because of this, and that's why I thought, oh my gosh, the tooth probably has to be extracted. And the all the dentists are completely booked out. Like every dentist in this entire area from, I'm not gonna say where, they're all booked out, and it is crazy. We have a dentist shortage. Man, people, why don't you become dentists? But, I think we should all become our own dentists and use Insta Morph, and, that really takes some practice to learn how to do it. But if you learn how to use Insta Morph and you do that right, then you can really fix your fillings properly, and it might last for a very long time. It might last for years until maybe the tooth comes out or whatever. So from experience, I do not recommend any of these procedures that dentists like to do and that are super overpriced, like root canal fillings, for example. I had a root canal filling done once in this tooth here, that was here, and it created a horrible infection in my gum, and it even causes heart problems. That's how bad these root canal fillings are. They can actually cause toxicity in the system. It's really terrible. And in particular, if they use mercury amalgam, the silvery type of stuff, you want to completely stay away from mercury filling materials. So I recommend to all dentists to completely quit using that altogether. But if you have any left, bring it to the hazardous waste disposal place. Don't put this into people's mouths anymore, because it is extremely toxic. That's why it's outlawed in Europe. Yes, just as Roundup is outlawed in Europe, because it's toxic, highly toxic. It's carcinogenic. Okay. So anyway, learn a little bit from the European countries in this respect. I don't know how long the European countries are going to be up to date, cutting edge with this kind of stuff. As religion rolls in, science rolls out. But, so far science had the upper hand in Europe. Now, I don't know how long this is going to stay like this, and this is highly politically incorrect, and Insta Morph is probably not going to go for that. So sorry Insta Morph, this is who I am. I say the truth. I say how it is. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but yes, it needs to be said. So I say this because I care about you guys out there. Insta Morph, as far as I know, is non-toxic. It feels non-toxic when I have it in my hand after it has dried. So it feels like a very harmless plastic material. So, but I'm not an expert. It says non-toxic on the package. So whether it really is non-toxic, that's another question. You would have to be a chemist and you have to investigate that material, but I'm taking their word for it so far. And I read the reviews, and people are all very happy with it. I guess they must all be very skilled with their hands to work with that as fast as it dries. So it really takes some skill. But we can learn, one can learn how to work with those materials. It's not like that other stuff, that you get at the Dollar Tree store or 99-cent store, that temporary filling material that feels powdery and that it just crumples apart and doesn't even really dry. It doesn't even really get hardened. This gets hardened very quickly. It's bouncy. It's like an amazing stuff. It's like, it reminds me of those night guard materials, and they have to be all non-toxic, of course, if people have that in their mouth all night long to protect their teeth from getting fractured, from biting on it. And a lot of people do this because of tension and fear and anxiety, and yeah, that's a sign of the times. We live in scary times, and much uncertainty, and people are afraid, and I'm very afraid as well, when I go to sleep. But I go like, okay, so I'm afraid now, but the fear really doesn't help very much. So that's why you need to go into meditation to let go of it, because right now everything seems to be good. You need to protect yourself. You need to use common sense. That's not common. You need to use rational sense. And beyond that, you can only do vipassana meditation and wish the world love and peace, wish all these very unrestful people and souls and entities some peace. And beyond that, you can't really do very much, I'm not a legislator, so we have to do holistic means to relax ourselves and calm our nerves down. And the night guard is very beneficial for your teeth. So yeah, I know someone who has so much anxiety, he has only like a quarter of his teeth left because he has been grinding them down his entire life of over 60 years. That's what it does. That's what anxiety does to your teeth. And I've always paid much attention to my teeth, because our teeth are our internal kind of like tool. It's like, that's what we eat with. That's how we talk, how we express ourselves. That's how we make these sounds. And without teeth, like this, grandmother, yes, I only eat liquid stuff. Yeah, it's not very good. So yeah, teeth, the tooth problems, I think it's like one of the major problems of humanity, because there's so much unhappiness and so much suffering that has already gone into this field. The subject teeth, oh my goodness. My uncle, he was already way over 80. He went to the dentist, and I don't know how long that took, like half a year or something, like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and suffering and all that stuff. Had the last crumbly teeth removed, and then everything completely redone. Complete the entire mouth with new implants, tooth implants, brand new teeth. I don't like the word brand. Factory made new teeth, and looks amazing. And I think that's what we probably all need to have done, but it is, here in the United States, it costs you a house in Malibu and a Rolls Royce to have that done. And I don't have that kind of cash, so, and it's also a lot of suffering, and there's also still a minute chance that they might not be accepted by the body that it can come out. So So it's become better. My brother, when he had his first 2 implants done because he had a hockey accident, it was Friday the 13th, and someone in the school has thrown that hockey stick into his mouth accidentally and knocked the 2 front teeth out. And he came home with a bleeding mouth and said, "Nikki, it's Friday the 13th. Look what happened." And then he had a whole long history of terrible suffering and terrible problems, going back and forth to the dentists, having the dentist talking him into implants, very costly everything. And then they came out because that was a while back before they became better. And so then he had to wear dentures in the front, and then they came out while he was dancing with a woman, and and all of these things. But then finally he got new ones, and they are not being rejected, and they're better. So yeah, I would like to have all of those replaced as well, but I don't know any good dentist or surgeon, and I don't, and they're all booked out, and I don't have the cash. So maybe there is a good one in LA, but maybe there's one that could be recommended by some celebrities, but they take too much money. And this is very, very sad. And my insurance only that I have over my mom only covers like percentage, small percentage or something, for dental work. And all of that is not very cool. So, and that's why before I have x-rays done and pollute my body with more radiation, we're already being bombarded from Fukushima and Chernobyl and Nagasaki. All of that is still somewhere lingering in the atmosphere and in all the material. It takes millions of years for that to disintegrate and calm down and become balanced out again chemically in the world. So what humans have done is just, it's beyond words, really. It's beyond comprehension. The irresponsibility of all of this. I recommend you to listen to Jiddu Krishnamurti. He talks about all of these things. He talks about the importance of every single person taking responsibility. Stop the blame game and take responsibility for your own lives. And start to think clearly and be an active participant in molding the world to become better. Every single person is responsible for that. If you are jumping on a bandwagon, wherever that bandwagon started, whether it's Adolf Hitler or someone from the Middle East, it doesn't matter. The outcome is the same. Do we want that again? I don't think so. So, always a little bit politics on the side of a dentist. Dental tooth video. Very important. So anyway, so what I'm gonna do is, and I feel very giddy, I have these ceramic tea lamps. That is I have it over there by the window. It's too much trouble to get it out. But it's a little ceramic, molded, handmade, like a clay lamp, that has a little pool on the top, and it has openings on the side, and you can put a tea candle into it. You can light it, and then it heats up the the pool ball on the top, and you can put like an ounce of water into it, and then you can put an essential oil into it, a couple of drops, and that will diffuse and is very healing. So it will diffuse like lavender oil into the air, and it's very nice. So you can also use that to put Insta Morph into it. So you can put an ounce of water in it and then wait until the tea candle has heated the water up, where the water starts to move. Not boil, but just, I don't think it makes the water boil, but it makes the water so hot that it starts to move. And then you can put, just 2 grains of rice size Insta Morph into it, 4 pellets. They're very small. 4 pellets of Insta Morph into it, and then you wait until it, you blow the candle out, and then you wait for 2 minutes or 3, and then you take that out, and it has to be completely transparent like this blob stuff, and then you mold it and you put it in your filling, and you have to work very fast and just make sure you pat it in very well. And that's what I'm gonna do with the lower one, because that's kind of shallow. I don't know if that's gonna stick. And it's probably advisable to use a tissue to get any excess saliva out of the filling hole, so that, I don't know if the saliva prevents that from sticking. It could. I don't know. The chemicals in the saliva might interfere with the Instamorph, so from sticking into the filling cave. So that's what I'm gonna try, and it's just a matter of practicing this, and then you get better at it, and then you can do your own fillings. And I don't think I need to have it all drilled out first to get any of the old material out. So I don't really see why I should do this. And also, okay, I noticed that, sometimes when a filling comes out, you often notice that maybe some of the tooth enamel had decayed, and that happens a lot with people. White sugar consumption, not just the contact of the white sugar onto the teeth, but the white sugar in the whole system causes the teeth to decay. White sugar is really, really, really bad. It's actually toxic. So that's why we need to completely steer away from white sugar and also white flour and anything that is depleted, that is not whole in its whole form anymore. That's not what you want to put whole plant food into your body. It could be ground down, it could be gone through a food processor or some kind of grinding machine. You can make a paste out of whole almonds or hazelnut, but they have to be in their whole form when you put it in. So then it comes, marzipan, for example, is the what they do is they strip the almonds of the outer skin. My mother always used to do this for her cookies, and I always thought, what a grinding and difficult process that is, so that you can have this really all sugary cookie in the end, with this all sugary white almond paste, which is called marzipan. It's a German delicatesse, gourmet sweet thing. It's a very traditional, particularly in southern Germany, and they make all kinds of things with it. They form pigs out of it, marzipan pigs, and they were always very famous and very popular. And yes, I like it too. It's very addictive, that stuff, but it's much better to use the whole almond and not process it, not cook it, not heat it. Just use the whole almond, raw almonds that are unprocessed, unsalted, have no chemicals dipped into it. Raw almonds, and you put them through a grinder, and then it comes out in a whole almond paste. You can put that on bread, or you can mix carob liquid into it, make your own chocolate-free Nutella, and yeah, you can experiment with those kind of things. And they are very sweet. You don't have to, you can put all kinds of amazing things in it, like dried dates or dried figs, and it tastes amazing, and it's vegan and it's wholesome. That's what the body needs. Okay, the body will process that. It will not give you diabetes. It will not overburden your system, your pancreas or your kidneys or your liver, because it's in its whole form. Okay, Rudolf Steiner talks about this, very important. So then you don't cause tooth decay. But most people have tooth decay, and that's why the dentists have to drill that decayed part of the enamel out. I, for example, have no tooth decay anymore at all. I used to have a whole lot because my parents fed us candy bars basically non-stop. They meant well, but they just didn't have the knowledge. We lived on chocolate, my brother and I. So, and for us, that not only are we addicted to it, it also comes with some good memories. It comes with a feeling of security and safety and all that stuff. And then it becomes very difficult to reform your food intake and your associations that you have to certain foods. It's very difficult. All of this is very convoluted. All of these things, including politics, including religion, including all of this, what's happening globally with people, with their religion, all the identifications that are happening with their religion, that makes it so difficult to see through this. To see through a clear glass, a clear lens, and not see through a lens that had been colored in a specific color or pattern that makes you perceive or think or see things not the way they are anymore, but you see things through an image that you already have, and that you project onto something, onto your environment. And that makes it so incredibly difficult to stop and to reform this inner mental process. So that's why I think food for thought should also be wholesome and not be sugar coated with the white sugar, with the white sugar thoughts that are nice and commercialized and palatable for your spoiled palate, literally. So yeah, we need to reform, and we need to rethink, we need to investigate things, we need to question things. All of this together, the dentists are way overcharging. All of this is not regulated. It's chaos what's going on. People running around with terrible tooth pain, with rotting teeth, and all of this. So here I come along, I'm being called devil because I say the truth. So the truth is hated by most people, but I'm helping you with these videos. I am taking seaweed. Dr. Andrew Jones, he's probably not on the level with all these politically incorrect things that I say, because, I think he is a very, very mellow and kind and very peaceful person, unlike myself. I am much more of a battle axe. But but he's an angel soul, more advanced than I am, and he is helping the world. And he has made videos about kelp seaweed fixing the teeth of dogs. And obviously, kelp seaweed heals all of our teeth because the dog's teeth are made out of the same material that our teeth are made out of. And we're made out of the same material as the dogs. Our nervous system is the same. We have the same feelings. We have the same, even the same thoughts, the same perceptions, and all of this. There are I think there's probably most people are not very good at math. Okay, same with dogs. So yeah, but maybe I'm a little bit better at math than Dave is, so that doesn't make him, second class citizen or something. That makes him equally deserving of personhood rights. I just wanted to mention that because this is incredibly important. So, and I'm sure that Andy Jones would agree with me on that one, because he's a very kind-hearted and caring veterinarian, and he is into holistic healing. And so that's where we learned about the kelp seaweed. And we started kelp seaweed, like half a teaspoon of the green kelp seaweed powder mixed into dog food for Kenny, mixed into a hot carob drink for myself. I don't know how often Paul takes it, but I don't think he remembers to take this every day. I remind him because I want him to, because he has diabetes. So anyway, Kenny and I, our former dog, Great Dane, Kenny and I healed our enamel. I was amazed, absolutely amazed. Part of my tooth here that was chipped off, it's growing back. This is growing back. When I went to this one dentist, I'm not going to say the name, there was a dentist from Indonesia that we had here, very, very hardworking, very precise dentist. He did a crown here. He said to me, when I went to him, that was long before I took kelp, he said, "What? Ouch," he said, "what happened here?" This was like really dented in, like there was a whole chunk chipped out. I said, "Oh, well, I I bit off the lid from a bottle." He said, "Ow!" I was completely cringing because, as a dentist, I'm making a video. He knew how painful and how awful that is, to use your teeth to bite something hard off and then have something of the enamel break off here. I don't recommend that to anyone. Use tools, don't use your teeth, they can chip off. So they're not bouncy like that Insta Morph is. I wish they were. That would be much better. But anyway, after I started taking the kelp seaweed, this started to grow. It's filling in now. It's amazing. I'm absolutely amazed. So, and Kenny, he had really bad sedimentation on his teeth, and we didn't know. He was terrified of the veterinarian. The veterinarian wanted to put into, and he wanted to anesthetize him. He wanted to completely put him unconscious for this process of teeth cleaning and all that stress on the body, on the system. He already had hip problems, and I just couldn't put him through all of this. So we just didn't know what to do. And then we looked into different dog foods and to see which ones would be better for him, then some chew bones, and then he wouldn't even chew anymore because it would hurt his teeth. So I knew he had terrible tooth problems. And then, like a year before he died, Paul found out from Andy Jones about the seaweed, the kelp seaweed powder, And so we ordered that from, we got that from Star West Botanicals. They sell that in bulk, and I recommend it. It's very good. It comes from Canada. It comes from Newfoundland, I think, and it is harvested there. And so we started him on this, and then the sedimentation on the teeth was dissolving. It came off gradually, and within 4 months his teeth were completely clear, sparkling white. Yeah, sparkling white. And my teeth have always been white, but they have become much whiter after I started on the kelp seaweed. And you know, you can feel with your tongue, when you touch your teeth with your tongue, with the tip of your tongue, you can tell whether there is some roughness or some kind of sedimentation on it. And I have no more sedimentation at all on my teeth. And I remember when I was a child, I had sedimentation on my teeth because we were fed candy. It was awful, absolutely terrible. And Paul is down there. And so, yeah, by the time Kenny was leaving his spacesuit behind, there was his spacesuit, and Paul opened the lip in his grave, and there were sparkling white teeth. And he could have had that his whole life if we had known about the kelp seaweed. But you know what? Even if this information comes across to some people, it will be covered up out of greed. So people put greed and money over the well-being of other living beings, and this is not just in the field of dentistry. This is in all areas. This is a real serious phenomenon. It's a real serious global problem with humanity, is covering things up out of greed. Things that could help other living beings, that could help make all of us peaceful. Lockheed Martin, Boeing, yeah, weapon manufacturers. We could have peace, but they don't want it because the greed is more important to them than peace on this whole planet. And this is how serious these things are. This is how serious greed, corruption, and corporatism are. I want people to realize this. And they use religion. They use religion, and they use stupidity and brainwashing, and they use banging people against each other's heads. They use the conflict. They use all of this for greed, for some people, for a few people on the top, filling their bank accounts on our conflicts, on our suffering, and people being turned against each other, religions being turned against religions, and so on. And I want you to become responsible, take charge of your own lives, and help others, and don't buy into the corporate agenda anymore, okay? That's what I want every single person to do. You guys take care. Bye-bye.